and welcome to PraDa Law Live. I'm Jackie Mendez. I'm your host for today's show. Happy Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. The weekend is upon us, and today's show is the free show. What does that mean? That we don't get paid unless you get paid. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have our great attorneys with us today here at PraDa Law. I'm going to go ahead and introduce them. First up, we have Javier Rodriguez.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening. Great to be here.
He'll be talking to us a little bit about workman's comp. Next up, we have our partner, Alexis Garcia.
Thank you, Jackie. Hello, everybody, and it's a pleasure to be here this evening.
And today she'll be talking to us about labor laws. And of course, the lovely Jennifer Pratt.
Well, thank you, Jackie. Good evening. It's a pleasure to be here with everyone today.
And Jennifer will be talking to us a little bit about personal injury. Today's show, like I said, is the free show. There's a number on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call. The consultation is free. The call is free. Let's get right into today's show.
That's right, Jackie. It's the free show, one of my favorite shows, and I know the weekend is almost upon us. Is anyone else as anxious as I am?
I like Thursdays better than Fridays.
Really?
Because
Talk to me. Why?
the excitement and the anticipation for the weekend, it's like a vacation. Right. I like the planning and the days up to the vacation. You know?
Yeah, you've always got. You got something going on this weekend?
No, I don't. Oh, I'm cleaning out my closet.
Oh, that's always good. What about you, Mr.
Yeah.
Rodriguez? Anything going on this weekend?
Probably doing a little fishing, a little beach action, yeah.
All right. And Ms. Mendez?
Well, I'm happy to finally get back into work. I don't know if most of you know at home, but I'm a musician, I'm a singer, and I sing around town in the Miami area, so I'm happy that the venues are opening up again, 50% still, but it's definitely giving the musicians and the entertainers some work now.
So you guys are seeing more and more openings and things. That's great. That's great to hear. And, you know, that's exactly the kind of thing that I want to hear because, you know, it's important to know that things are sort of normalizing. And so I've been saying it. We've been on a roller coaster. And I know this is the free show. We're not here to talk financials, but it's been a roller coaster ride. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, and I'm just happy that it seems like we're on a high right now. Although I have heard that because of Labor Day weekend, they're saying that, you know, the last two high spikes were after Memorial Day and after 4th of July. So hopefully, you know, we can stay tame and you know, continue.
Keep those numbers down.
Right, keep those numbers down and continue to open up different venues. And with that being said, that means that there's a lot more people going back to work, Mr. Rodriguez, and that's music to my ears and your ears, I'm sure, because, you know, we've got a lot of people going back to work, and it is inevitable that people get injured. And so talk to us a little bit about how workers' compensation works, and for those folks that are watching us or listening to us and they're going back to work, how can they possibly qualify for a workers' compensation claim?
That's a great question, Jennifer. And it's basically very easy. I mean, if you're at work and you're injured, you have a case. I mean, it sounds very simple because it is. If you're on the clock, you're doing your job, even if you caused the accident, even if it's your fault, you went back to work, you did something wrong, you're still entitled to benefits. So what are those benefits? They're medical benefits. They have to pay for all of your hospital bills, all of your doctor appointments, your medications, your therapies. You don't pay anything. And the second thing is checks. So if you're at home because you can't work because you got injured, they have to send you checks every week to your house. So that's money that you're entitled to, money that you're owed, and that's got to be paid by the insurance company. So yeah, a lot of people are going back to work, and you got to know your rights.
I have a question
Sure.
for you. Is it common, or do you see that individuals can receive maybe workman's comp payment for life? Because they may be disabled for life. Do you see something like that ever?
Right, so the classification of benefits, that's called permanent and total disability. I mean, it involves a very catastrophic, you know, very bad accident, paralyzed, loss of limb.
I have a bankruptcy client like that, and he's receiving disability for life now under workman's comp. So I was, I was just asking maybe if there was more, you know, more money coming to him, and he just explained, no, he just for life gets this set income.
He gets a certain amount, but he can always try to settle the case as well. So he can get a lump sum. We project out how much what his life expectancy is, how many years he has remaining, how many checks he's going to get for that amount, and there's calculations, and we can help him go through that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we'll give you a call then once we finish up with some of his bankruptcy things.
After the bankruptcy.
I have another question. So you said, so even if it's my fault and I'm at work and I get injured and it's my fault, I can still have a case?
That's right. It's very different than personal injury or liability cases where you have to prove some type of negligence. You have to prove that the third party or the other driver did something wrong. With workers' comp, it's not like that. As long as you're on the job and you're doing what you're supposed to do, even if you caused the accident, you can still get benefits.
Well, thank you so much, Attorney Rodriguez. Well, you've heard it here. If you've been hurt, you may have a case. If you've been hurt at work, you may have a case. Ladies and gentlemen, 888-88-LEGAL. The number's on the screen. Give us a call.
And if you've been hurt anywhere else and you suspect that it is because of the negligence of someone else, even if it's not 100% their negligence, you may have a personal injury case, whether that's a car accident, a slip and fall, premises liabilities. For example, you may have been leaving a shopping center and you were physically assaulted, robbed, hurt, shot at, injured in any way, shape, or form. Give us a call. Happy to explore your options with you. Again, it's the free show, free consultation. And on our panel today, we also have the pleasure of having the lovely Attorney Garcia, who usually talks to us about bankruptcy,
Right.
but today you're filling in for Attorney Hara, and you're going to be talking to us about labor law.
Yes.
What is labor law? Why is it different than workers' comp? What are you talking about? Is that minimum wage, overtime? What is that all about?
When people think of the Federal Labor Law Act, they think of minimum wage and they think of overtime. So basically, there's a federal law that sets what is the minimum wage an individual has to be paid per hour that they work. And then this law defines the number of hours to work in a week. Anything over 40 hours is considered overtime, and you need to be compensated at time and a half. Breaking it down easily, if you're paid $10 an hour, hour 41, you're going to be paid $15 because you're getting the $10 plus 5. So you need to be careful and make sure that these wages are being properly paid to you and that this is being met, because a lot of the time your employers will pay you for the hours you worked, but not the overtime calculation that is proper, and you would have a claim there.
Thank you so much, Attorney Garcia. A lot of information, ladies and gentlemen. Give us a call, 888-88-LEGAL.
And with so many people going back to work, this is exactly why this show is so important. It's very relevant, whether you're being injured physically, whether you got injured on the job, or whether you're not being compensated properly. This is the free show. Give us a call. Interact with us right now. We have these attorneys on the panel that can answer your questions, and that's what we're here to do. And if you're shy, you don't want to get on the show, you don't want to be interactive with Ms. Mendez, then you can certainly meet us free consultation either at our Doral office, or we can even accommodate you telephonically. So there's really no excuse right now to not come on in and take advantage of a free consultation.
That's right, 888-88-LEGAL. The number's easy, the call is free, the consultation is free. Don't hesitate. You may have a case for workman's comp, maybe labor law, personal injury. We take care of that all for you. So give us a call.
That's right, and we're going to be going into our first commercial break, but when we come back, I want to talk to Attorney Rodriguez and Attorney Garcia regarding folks that are scared to come forward with their claims. They're scared of being retaliated against or something worse. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. You don't want to miss this.
I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size, we know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote, ¿cómo? ¿Cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito? Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera de 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
And welcome back to PraDa Law Live. Once again, I'm Jackie Mendez. Happy Thursday. That means if it's Thursday, it's the free show, ladies and gentlemen. And that number is on the screen, 888-88-LEGAL. The consultation is free. The call is free. And once again, if you don't get paid, we don't get paid.
That's right, Jackie, and that's why these cases are fascinating to me, because we really do take on the risk, we take on the cost, and it's like a venture, it's like a partnership. You know, we're in it to win it for you, because unless we win it for you, we don't get paid either. And like it says, it's the free show, because if we don't win anything, then it didn't cost you anything except, you know, giving us a call and signing up and saying that we can do something for you. So before the break, we were talking about the different, the claims and the retaliation, the possible retaliation. What does that mean? A lot of people right now, with jobs being scarce and, you know, being so, you know, instability, you know, one day the stock market is high, it's low, it's this, we don't know, the elections are coming, everyone's sort of screaming, and we don't know what's going on. I would imagine that a lot of people, and, you know, I've felt this way before. I've been at a job where I felt like there was no way, like maybe they weren't paying me what I knew they were supposed to pay me, but there was no way I was going to approach the boss man or woman. Because I was scared. I was scared to get fired. I was scared that they were gonna maybe not refer me for the next job, whatever it is. Right. So just briefly, you know, with regards to workers' compensation and even the Fair Labor Act, like, you know, should people be afraid to bring forward these claims? Is there a subsidiary, I guess, like a subsequent claim that you can make if you can prove that you were fired because, in fact, you brought up your own legal rights?
Right. So with workers' comp claims, if the employer fires you because you brought a claim, you can sue him for a retaliatory discharge claim. Now, it is difficult to prove, but if you can show that because you hired an attorney, because you filed a claim, they took action and fired you, then you have a second claim. But the more important thing is the reason why you need to have an attorney in the first place. So you mentioned sometimes you weren't sure if you're getting paid correctly, if you're getting the right benefits. These insurance adjusters, these insurance companies handle thousands of cases, and you are but for a number to them. So it's hard for them to do everything right. Sometimes they try to do it right, but they still get it wrong. So we're able to, for instance, look at the payroll records, get all of the records to make sure you're getting paid correctly. Look at the doctor notes, make sure you're getting to the appropriate specialist. So that's really why you need to hire an attorney to help you protect your rights with these cases. And when we get the payroll records, we can turn them over to someone like Alexis Garcia, who can then look at them and figure out if there's an overtime claim, right?
Absolutely. That's great, because, you know, the records are already there, and that's something we can go through to see if you've been properly paid for your overtime. As to retaliation, well, it's the same kind of claim you can make against your employer if you're let go because you want your overtime wages. This is something that you're entitled to, that the law says this employer has to pay. So questioning your boss because, hey, I worked overtime and I didn't get these funds, that should not be subject to being fired because of that. And it's the same thing. You're going to have to prove that you were fired because of this claim. And that's a little bit different, because what is so interesting to me about labor law is, as the plaintiff and as the employee who wasn't properly paid, when you bring the claim, you don't have to prove it. You just make the allegations in your complaint, and it is your employer who has to bring forward the proper records showing that they paid you correctly, not vice versa, which I think that's great, and that's what this act established as well.
I definitely want to touch on that, but I just want to touch on what Attorney Rodriguez just said. You know, it sounds like the adjusters are like many of my ex-boyfriends, you know, just a number to them, you know, just, you know, whatever, here it is.
Book number.
Take it, leave it, you know. Hi, ex-boyfriend. Ha ha.
Eat your heart out. Anyway, okay, so that call, 888-88-LEGAL, that call's free, that consultation is free. Give us a call. We're waiting to hear from you.
I love that you brought that up, Attorney Garcia, because we're all attorneys on this panel, and one of the first things they teach us first year of law school is, like, you know, the plaintiff has the burden, right? You bring forward a lawsuit, it's your burden to prove these
like in your
certain
personal
elements.
injury cases, you have to show negligence.
I have to show negligence, injury, causation, damages, all that good stuff. And you're absolutely right, and that is one of the fascinating things about these cases. Please elaborate a little bit about what that means. So I feel that I haven't been paid my overtime. So now I file the claim, and now you're saying it's my employer who has to actually prove up the case?
Yes, because the Act sets record-keeping laws as well. So as an employer, you should keep these proper records so you can prove it. So if your employer is not keeping the records, you know, and they come in and they don't have any proof of it, you have a really good case at trial because they have nothing to rebut your claim. So that's something you need to consider. And the other thing is, if your employer can come and prove you were paid everything that you're claiming you weren't, except 2 hours, let's say just 2 hours in, you still win the case and your employer still has to pay our fees because you won only 2 hours.
Wow, thank you so much, Attorney Garcia. Definitely a lot of good information. Once again, 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call. That consultation will be free.
We're going to go to a short commercial break, but when we come back, I want to talk to Attorney Garcia about these double damages I keep hearing, or double penalties of some sort with these claims. That to me, anytime I can get double the fun, double the money, I'm all for that. And I want to bring in Attorney Rodriguez as well into the conversation, because I've got some questions about getting injured on the job and whether or not these certain scenarios that I have in my mind would or wouldn't qualify. So again, the number's on the screen. The first consultation is free. This is the free show. Give us a call. You have absolutely nothing to lose except for us to tell you whether we think you have a case or not. We'll be right back after the break.
I know you're home right now asking yourself, how? How will I pay my rent, my mortgage, my bills, my credit card debt? I'm attorney Alexis Garcia with PraDa Law. I've personally helped people with financial problems over the last 10 years. I understand what you are going through. We saw people lose it all in the 2008 financial crisis. You don't have to lose it all. The consultation is free. Call us now. I will help protect what you have built. You have nothing to lose by calling us. Call us now. These are trying times. This deadly virus is affecting our health, economy, jobs, our small business owners. Bankruptcy protection may be able to save assets and immediately stop your creditors from harassing you. Small business owners, employees of business of any size. We know you need help. Call us now. We will help you get back on your feet. Don't wait until it's too late. This is the time to call.
Sé que estás en la casa ahora mismo preguntándote cómo voy a pagar la hipoteca, la renta, los biles, las tarjetas de crédito. Soy la abogada Jennifer Pratt con PraDa Law. Yo personalmente he ayudado a las personas con problemas financieros durante los últimos 10 años. Yo entiendo por lo que estás pasando. Vimos cómo la gente lo perdió todo durante la crisis financiera del 2008. No tienes que perderlo todo. Llama ahora. La consulta es gratis. Te ayudaremos a proteger todo lo que has construido durante todos estos años. Sabemos que estos son tiempos difíciles. Este virus mortal está amenazando nuestra salud, nuestra economía, nuestros empleos y a los propietarios de nuestras pequeñas empresas. La consulta es gratis. Llame ahora. Te ayudaremos a recuperarte. No esperes hasta que sea demasiado tarde. Llame ya.
And welcome back to PraDa Law Live, ladies and gentlemen. 888-88-LEGAL. That's the number you want to remember to call for your free consultation. We've been talking a little bit about labor laws, workman's comp, and personal injury. And before the break, we had a question for Attorney Garcia. And I would want to know, what is double damages?
Okay, double damages is part of the Labor Law Act, where if you prove the damages, and if you don't prove, if your employer cannot prove that you are not owed that money, I know if the employer cannot prove it, then you're entitled to double the damages. So if you're making a claim for $5,000, you may potentially win up to $10,000, plus not have to pay my fees. The employer has to pay the fees separate and apart from the monies that you have won in the case.
The employer will pay all those
the
attorney fees, courts fees.
Well, he's stuck on his side paying his attorney's fees, and then he's stuck now paying your attorney's fees for our firm for doing the work.
Not too shabby.
Not too shabby at all. And talking about attorney fees and all these different things that we're talking about, I want to ask you a question I don't think I've ever asked you before, Attorney Rodriguez. So if you don't know the answer, it's fine. Just give me give me a boilerplate answer, and we'll talk about it after the show. But in talking about proving things up and things of that nature, with workers' compensation, I've heard you say in the past that it's strict liability. So whereas here, the burden of proof, whether it's on the plaintiff, whether it's on the employer, this, that, is that the case with workers' compensation? How does that work? Because I can think of one scenario where many moons ago, I think I wasn't even a lawyer yet, I had a friend who allegedly got injured on the job. They tried to do a workers' compensation claim, and the employer said, "You didn't get injured here. It wasn't here at this job. In other words, like, does the eggshell doctrine apply? Like, get them as they come? Like, how does it work in the workers' comp? And I just threw like mad questions at you.
Say, you threw about 5
I know.
different law school questions at me.
Let's start with strict liability. What is strict liability? What does that mean for someone listening right now?
It's very similar. I don't know if it's the textbook definition of strict liability, but basically you don't have to prove anything. All you have to be able to show is that you were hurt on the job. The legal term is course and scope of employment. So if you're on the clock, you're at work, and you get hurt, that's a workers' comp case.
Okay. All right. And what about for an employer who says, well, it was 2 questions, so I'll start with 1. That didn't happen here. That's a lie. You didn't get injured here. That was you last weekend, Labor Day, on a boat.
That's another reason why you're going to have to hire an attorney, because that case will get litigated. You have an obligation to report the injury. So you tell your employer, your boss, your supervisor, hey, I got hurt. You have 30 days to do that from the time of the accident. So you don't have to do it the same day. Obviously, preferably, it's better to do it sooner than later. But you tell them, hey, I got hurt here. They have to report the claim. And that's another misconception. People think that you're suing the employer. You're not. You're filing a case against their workers' comp insurance company. So it's that insurance company that's going to investigate, is going to do a report with the employer, with the boss, to get their side of the story. So in your scenario, they're going to call them, ask them, hey, did he get hurt here? Then they're going to call the employee, can I get a statement? How'd you get hurt here? So that's where the he said, she said comes. And that's, again, why it's important to get an attorney that knows what they're doing.
With those adjusters that are like my ex-boyfriend, I'm just a number. I got it.
Exactly. 888-88-LEGAL. Give us a call, ladies and gentlemen.
I have one for you, Attorney Pratt. There you go.
Go ahead, and then I'll go back to Mr. Rodriguez.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What about reporting for, car accidents and things like that? When should you report the car accident to your insurance, to your lawyer? How does that, what's the timeline look for a case like
Great
that?
question, and there's tons of reasons why you want to report, not report, etc. So obviously, if you're in a very bad accident, you're going to call 911, right? You're going to call 911, make sure you're well, that you're rushed to the hospital, whatever it is, seek medical attention immediately. But I would say that immediately after 911, you should adhere to calling an attorney immediately. Maybe even before your insurance company. And here's why. There's a lot of little caveats as to whether or not your own insurance company will cover those first $10,000 in PIP medical benefits, including, for example, I've said this before, the insurance is your friend while you're doing 2 things, paying them on time every month and not filing a claim. When you get into a car accident, by Florida law, and I can't change this, you want this changed, talk to your legislators, okay? Your insurance, not hers, not the guy who almost killed me, no. My insurance has to pay the first $10,000 minus a deductible. A lot of clients don't get that. They say, why? Was it my fault? Why am I paying for this? Sorry, that's how it is. But in paying that, your insurance company may try to get away from paying, because that's what insurance companies do, right? They do in workers' comp. In any other insurance claim, they try to avoid paying or paying very little, which is why you have an attorney to fight for maximum policy benefits, etc. They're going to try to say, no, we're not going to pay because of this reason or that reason. And I've seen every excuse in the book, including misrepresentation. That's one of the most infamous ones. What does that mean? That means that when you got the insurance, let's say Geico, I'm not picking on Geico, anybody, State Farm, whatever. You said your address was 16900 Southwest 28th Street, but really you were living at your grandma's house on 32nd Court. Why'd you pick 27th Street? Because that's where I get my mail, that's where my mama lives, whatever excuse you have. They're going to say you misrepresented it and you committed fraud. You're going to need an attorney like myself to go in there and fight for those first $10,000 minus deductible, because that's important. You're going to want that money out paid by the PIP, because at the end of the day, when I go to settle, that's going to be $10,000 that's not in your column that should be in your column.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Attorney Pratt. 888-88-LEGAL. I can't believe the show is almost over, and tomorrow's Friday. Tomorrow's Friday, and we're excited about that, but I just want to remind you one more time, 888-88-LEGAL. That's the number you want to call for your free consultation. Jennifer.
With car accidents, too, you've got 14 days. That's also per the legislator. That was a few years ago that they enacted that. If you don't make a claim within the 14 days with your insurance for PIP benefits, they may exclude you and only pay you up to $2,500 instead of the $10,000 minus deductible. So there's a lot of reasons why you should call an attorney right away. I like to prep you for the statement that you're going to have to give, the recorded statement. There's a lot of things I like to do, and if I can get your case at inception, even better. But if you're already in the case, happy to talk to you as well. I want to go back to Attorney Rodriguez with regards to workers' compensation. Real quick, we've got about 10 seconds. Does the eggshell doctrine apply? Does it matter that I was already injured from a bike riding accident a year ago?
No, it doesn't matter. If you have plates, screws, everything in your knee, they got to take you the way it is.
He's a professional. We have to go. Thank you so much. Happy Thursday. Have fun this evening. Take care. We'll see you next week.